All right. I'm back.
Welcome.
By the way,
I miss you.
Is your room swaying also, or is it just me? Feels like I'm still on the boat. When you get off a cruise ship for a couple days, you still feel like...
Do you not feel it while you're on the boat then? Like, do you get used to it pretty quickly?
Yeah, I do. Like every once in a while if it gets a little rocky, but this always happens to me. I haven't been on a ship for 6 years, since like pre-COVID. So it's been a long time, but I used to go like once a year for different things. So but it was weird. I'm like, oh, I forgot this part. I feel very like
how long does it last?
A couple days, then I'll get back to normal, but it's pretty funny. So GM, everyone, we have a shocking amount of things to chat about today. So let everyone know we're live. I am going to go do that myself and let people know we're live. Adrienne, I think though at the top, really quick, before we get everybody in here, we should go with the most important news really fast, and then we'll do our little intro. But did you see the Super Bowl ad from Coinbase?
Yes, of course I did.
And we're not playing them sound because I don't want to get, copyright problems. So
from Coinbase?
No, from
Backstreet
Boys. From The Voice. So if you didn't see it, there was karaoke that popped up on everyone's screen. I missed it because I was in international waters and they weren't showing the commercials. So I didn't see it till I came back. It was also on the Sphere and everybody was singing along. And then at the end, it just pops up and says Coinbase when everybody was like, going along here. And I'm just saying, like, we have no proof yet, but this will be my first question next time we have Jesse on. We have no proof yet, but I liked this theory from Lynx and Dwoofy. Coinbase runs a lame karaoke ad during the Super Bowl, which uses Base's For Everybody type branding messaging. Base had karaoke at Base Camp as part of their strip mining of crypto culture, which I don't know about that part. This particular culture was mined from GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster runs a regular karaoke brunch event, the ideation of which happened in this group chat. I always wanted to bring karaoke to the masses, but not like this. So if you don't know, now you know. We might be taking credit or blame.
I still don't think people understand the lore. I still don't think it's a straight line, but if you don't know, GM Farcaster does a karaoke brunch, and it's a famous event.
Famous.
And we're just saying we own karaoke culture. I think
we do, and it's only us, and I don't even know why people think it's anything but.
I'll send an invoice to Coinbase for royalties.
We really should. So I'm trying to make sure we are live over on the Bird app, aka X, and I am seeing some weird things happening where it's showing it, but it's not showing it like how it normally does. So hopefully everything is fine.
I'm seeing it.
I'm seeing it in the feed at top, but I'm not seeing it in the profiles, and I think that's a little odd. So that's the thing I'm just looking for. And usually I pin it and it's not there. So something weird is going on there. So I can't like share it. I have to go, it looks like somebody changed something. That's what I'm saying. So I have to actually open live video to see it and to share it. Yeah. So that's kind of odd. So that's new. So we're going to get that shared around. And we're very excited. We have Emily Jr. on today to chat about DRB. If you don't know, Grok has money. And we're going to talk about Grok having money and agents launching tokens and banker. And I do have my banker hat handy. We've got a lot of news to get into. But first, we do need to do a little bit of our intro here. And we will be back in about 67 seconds on the other side of this. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, NounishProf and Adrienne, for another episode of GM Farcaster. This episode of GM Farcaster is powered by Clanker. Each Monday, we'll bring you the latest news from the Clanker team and highlight the builders innovating with Clanker and Farcaster. Visit clanker.world to launch your token and check out all the new features that Clanker V4 has to offer. Thank you, Clanker, for sponsoring GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is Tuesday, February 10th, and you are here with NounishProf and Adrienne for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day, plus a chat with Emily Jr. about DRB, the token launched by Grok. And I am still working to get this shared around because Twitter didn't do it, or excuse me, X didn't do its usual thing. So I'm doing some tagging and things. So
are you following Vitalik's lead and calling Twitter X?
At the moment, I feel like it's acting like X, so I just will call it that for a moment. It's doing some weirdness. It's just trying to make sure it's everywhere it's supposed to be. It's just kind of odd. I haven't seen it do this before. So usually it drops when you launch, it drops a tweet, a cast, a post. What do we call it over there? An X. And it didn't do that this time. So I just am making sure everyone's seeing it. And I think they're not. So that's why I am doing that. So hopefully everyone will see it. Whoops. So let me also share this. Okay. Very odd. So something broke. We'll figure that out later. But anyway, we've got lots of stuff to talk about, so let's jump in. Beyond karaoke, we have other things going on. It's been a very busy few days, and I have been on a cruise ship. Oh, I forgot one thing. I have a new mini Stanley, and I thought you'd want to see it. These are my new things. For those who missed the original, this was my mini Stanley from the Spy Museum in Washington, D.C. And now I have one from Key West as well. All right, let's go. This from Brad Q, 29 seconds of Farcaster. What did you miss this weekend? It was QR 1 year anniversary with Jake sharing some lore in the first post about the project. If you are new here, QR is regularly the #1 mini app on Farcaster, capturing attention for a link of the day that wins the auction. And then the QR code points to that link. So congratulations, Jake. 1 year of lots of fun. Better continues to spread the fun with Better with Burr.eth, Super Bowl squares and Super Bowl prop bets. That was really fun. Haven't checked to see how I did. I haven't seen all the winners yet, but 70 million Better is headed out, and the Better with Burr games are going to continue. So we're going to have a lot of fun with her coming up this week. TLDR released new Bracky feature where anyone can spin up a potential market in a tweet or cast. A Clanker is launched, and if it hits 60K, it becomes a live market on Bracky. I believe 3 or 4 such markets for the Super Bowl made it live. I think it was only a couple, but very cool. And I tried to launch one, but I didn't understand the full mechanics that I needed to like pump the token first. So
I saw Bracky was like, calm down. I'm not doing this for you.
Yeah. I was like, yes, you will.
Too late. It was like,
he's like, no, you don't understand this. But I'm like, you just gave me the option. It just happened. Like, that means nobody has time. But anyway, didn't work out. Street Photo created a Farcaster feedback mini app with upvoting that was shared in approval, making me think the team will be looking at the feedback. We'll show you that in just a bit. And we were off doing, trying to onboard. GM Farcaster is off today as NounishProf is on a cruise trying to onboard normie friends. I'll talk about that at the end. To Farcaster, and Adrienne is searching for new words for her mini app she's building. Also, we'll talk about that. We haven't really talked about that since it launched.
So it hasn't launched.
Oh, it hasn't launched. Sorry, it's still in beta. Never mind. We won't talk about that. So we thank you, Brad Q. Follow him for updates like this. You can also jump in and grab it as a newsletter from GM Farcaster. So this was some news that we've already talked about and told you was going to happen months ago, but you weren't listening. We thought this was going to happen. DWR announced, I'm thrilled to announce that I'm joining Tempo. Stablecoins are a generational opportunity, and I'm excited to be working to make them mainstream. Also lucky to continue working with V and a bunch of folks from the Merkle team. So I did see Dan. I did watch this morning. He was on TBPN. I always never know what the name is, but that show yesterday, talking a little bit about it. He's going to be doing go-to-market for Tempo. So I assume that means he is talking with all the banks and getting people on board to launch, to use or integrate stablecoins on Tempo into what they're working on. So very exciting. We kind of talked about that. We talked about even very early on when they were just not talking.
Right. Silence speaks.
During the silent moment, we were, one of the theories we had that was maybe Stripe, i.e. Tempo was maybe purchasing or acquiring them. And that's kind of what ended up happening. But Farcaster got spun off as it's to the Nanar team. And then Dan, Varun, Horsefax, Sloke, Deodad, I know those are the ones I've confirmed have moved over to Tempo. Anyone else that you've heard? Those are the only ones I know of for sure. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you've heard anyone else, let me know. But those are the ones I've heard and confirmed are moving to Tempo as well. So congratulations to them. Excited to see what happens with that. I have a feeling they're just going to be a lot quieter in terms of they're not really building. This isn't really building in public from what I can tell. Because it's more corporate institutional. They're talking with,
yeah.
Regular
maybe
finance
we'll just
world.
get Tech Dan to cast.
Yeah.
V's not a big chatter, and never was, but Dan likes to share. So we'll see what we get from him.
We'll see what happens. And we'll try to get him on here at some point to chat more about what he's doing. So anyway, moving on. That was some exciting news to finally have a confirmation on that. This was funny in terms of some of the comments over on Twitter were interesting. This one was funny from Mert, who is with Solana. Tempo now has Dankrad, Dan Romero, Dan Robinson, Matt, and Georgios. I don't know who that is. LMAO. This is the Golden State Warriors with Durant. Hype is probably the Cavs with Jeff as LeBron. Solana is the 2014 Spurs. Will be a fun year. Get your popcorn ready. I'm like, your references are so odd, and because they're way too new for me. So talking, Bulls, Lakers, and Celtics, and maybe I can, see what the heck you're talking about. But I did ask Dan if he was Durant because I wasn't sure exactly, where he fit in this. But yeah. So there you go. Interesting.
Or can I get a Real Housewives metaphor?
That would be great. I would appreciate that.
Get a Bravo metaphor for what?
Can we translate that into girly pop? Thank you.
Who's Teresa? I need to know.
Who's Teresa? Okay. It's Teresa. Who is Sonia Morgan? I need the tea. All right, moving on. This from Rish back in the Farcaster universe. Known high priority bugs. Morpho balances not showing. Impacts everyone. Swaps not working. Impacts some. Mini apps asking for repeated authorization. Impacts some. Root causes of bug still unclear. We'll fix this week. That was last week, so it may even be fixed by now. I'm not sure. Root causes a bug still unclear. We'll fix this week. Total balance is correct. Tokens are still there. It's a UI bug. So if you're having any bugs that are happening, please tag the team and they will address. And they're usually pretty quick about these sorts of things. This from Nanar, 2 big updates. The new Nanar button, Overcast, that opens up a chat with Nanar AI, and search now prioritizes users over tokens. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Every single time I'm like, I am not searching for $NounishProf.
No.
Not looked. No. Never.
Every single time I'm like,
looking for people.
I just want to find the person. So thank you. Have you used the Nanar button yet?
No.
And I haven't either. And I really need to go play around with it.
Okay.
And somebody asked when translate button. And that was interesting. Doubt you see a native translate button in the feed, but you can click the Nanar button, then ask it to translate, or just reply at Nanar translate this. So also Clanker can do that. Clanker understands multiple languages. So we do have some bots who can help you here.
All the bots. I mean, this is the beauty of building. Yeah. The bots just natively can speak in every language because they have the base model. By the way, I forgot I have used the Nanar button. I just forgot I did because I just used it again and I was reminded what it does. It opens up a new window and it starts a chat with explain this cast. So awesome. You can then have a conversation, but that's like the initiation. So if you are ever confused, it's just like it's a default explain.
Cool. So there you go. I think that's going to be super useful, especially for new folks, of which I have a few. So I'll have to explain that to them. This from Rish, mini app to consolidate Farcaster feedback. So if you have, and this was from Street Photo, check out Farcaster feedback, a mini app I built with Nanar App Studio. Submit feedback for Farcaster, upvote other users' feedback, so that's important, and shape the way Farcaster improves. Shout out Rish. Hopefully this can consolidate a good amount of feedback for the team to implement. So very cool, and go check that out. Add your feedback, upvote things. That way the team knows what to prioritize. So very cool.
This is very cool.
Yeah. This from
I still do it the old way.
You just tag Rish?
Yeah, I've been trained. This is how I got feedback to Dan, which is just cast it and he sees it.
He sees it. Or tagging Nanar also is a good option because sometimes Nanar knows information about that issue, or especially if it's a bug or something like that. But so we have multiple ways to do this. If you don't like mini apps, you can just tag Nanar and do the same thing. This from Nanar, speaking of, we wrote about Zapper, one of our favorite teams, taking an ambitious shot at social trading app built on top of Farcaster. So very cool. We had Seb on back a couple months ago. And I think, and I've been saying this for a while, I've said it very tenuously because both Base and Farcaster were leaning towards trading. But I kept saying, like, if you're a trader, go try the Zapper client because it is very well designed for that. And it's clean. It's just a great design. So shout out again to Zapper about that, and go try it. So especially if you're a trader. Okay, moving on to the next one. We'll talk more about NFTs. Or if you like NFTs, or it's just a very well done mini app in general. It's not conversational forward, I wouldn't say. Like it's not, that's not what you see first. It's basically, we're going to talk about Base in a second. It's basically what Base should have done, in my opinion. But I think Zapper has done it very well in terms of being a wallet that's adding social into it rather than social adding a wallet. Okay, this from Kyle Patrick, but this is in regards to Banker's a little switcheroo here. There we have it. Clanker has lost the lead. Not sure I agree with that, but we'll talk about that. Not having many updates for the past few months hurt too. The buybacks can only do so much without new coins being made, plus Banker, which provides most of the volume nowadays, forking. There's not much incentive holding Clanker. I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll talk more. Deployer and the Banker team should be studied with how fast they can spot market opportunities. That I could 100% agree with, and pivot fast when needed. This should be the gold standard in app coins and in business. Attention equals greatest currency. Create, adapt, iterate, update. And this was in response to Banker token launcher is live. All new tokens launched through Banker now earn more fees for agents. We removed the third-party service fee and redirected it back to the ecosystem. What this means, devs earn 14% more per swap. More revenue flows back to the Banker ecosystem. So this was what we talked about last week, or maybe the week before, where Deployer had signaled this was coming, that they were going to fork the Clanker protocol and sort of run their own thing for their own token launcher. And that has now happened. So, congrats to the Banker team and Deployer for, making this business move. They're very much leaning into the Claudbot meta and bots launching their own tokens as a way to generate revenue and operate autonomously. So, thoughts?
I don't think we can call it.
Yeah.
And I think there can be multiple winners.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's, I think that for them, the Banker team probably made the right move. I understand some of the criticism Kyle is putting in here. I think some of it was out of their control because of the acquisitions that were happening. First Clanker to Farcaster, then Farcaster to Nanar. So I think that definitely had some challenges to momentum. So
in terms of focus as well. And I think losing a few people on the team throughout, but Farcaster Nanar acquired Clanker with Farcaster. So I think you could still say Clanker is Farcaster native launcher.
Yeah.
Dish, it looks like Dish is getting up to speed on Farcaster PRs. Like I think he's shipping, so I think Clanker and Farcaster will kind of become more integrated. And I think some of these things just I don't know, you don't need to be shipping every single day. Like you got to kind of create that foundation with Nanar right now, post transition, kind of let things settle. So I don't, I
think it's way too soon to.
I don't think it's dire.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's way too soon to have that sort of reaction. I understand it. I do, especially if you're a Clanker holder and you're looking at it from that perspective. I get why that is what it feels like, but I don't think that's necessarily true. So what I'd say is, hang on, give it a minute. They're doing a lot of discussions in the background, figuring out direction, also just doing some basic foundational work, like you said, like PRs and commits and like moving things and all that kind of stuff. So hang tight. And we'll, I think there's some fun things to come. So more to come, and we'll get to those. We'll get to those when they happen. All right. Now this is a lot this week. This from Jesse. PSA. By the way, this first went out, of course, over on Twitter/X. You know how I feel about that. Then finally, there was this from Jesse. PSA, we're making the base app feed tradable assets only, which means turning off the Farcaster-powered talk feed. Here's why. The app needs to have one primary focus, and that thing is trading. When you open base app, you should know exactly what you're getting, and we're focused on making it the best place to find and trade every asset. To reflect a little, I was the biggest advocate for bringing Farcaster content into the base app and continue to believe in a multi-client world. But as we've rolled the app out, we've realized we need to do less, better, and by focusing on tradable assets, that's what we can do. And candidly, I think the truth is that the base app was always an imperfect Farcaster client. With this change, I expect those users to flow back to the Farcaster app, myself included, and inject more energy into the economy there. With the best in class interface. Base will continue to support Farcaster and Nanar and the incredible ecosystem of builders. So much of who Base is comes from Farcaster, and I only expect that to grow. So I was very confused. I had updated the app after I saw the first announcement. You can still see casts. You can still, there's just, the talk feed is gone. There's a trade feed like there was before. You can still see casts over there. There's still a Farcaster like thing. I mean, there's just no feed. But if you go to your profile, they're still there.
Yeah.
There's also mini apps are still there. So I asked the question, I can still post there, and I could still post there. That's the other thing. Is there another update coming? And they said, we're still going to have posting, just iterating on it to be asset and trade centric more soon. And then elsewhere, somebody had asked about mini apps, and they said, no, absolutely still supporting mini apps. So I think we haven't seen the final iteration of this. Even if you update, I don't think it's what it's going to be. The only thing that looks like that has happened is that the talk feed is gone. That was just the full, like, very similar Farcaster feed.
Yeah.
From what I can tell. I mean, it's clear that
it's an app, so it'll get updated all the time. So this is like the announcement, right? So what you see today is probably not what you see tomorrow or next week, and they'll keep changing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like even like a week or two from now. So I'm hoping we can get Jesse on maybe in March. Like, I think we need to give him a little more time just to see what's what. Yeah, I'm getting to that. Yes to crypto. And I think there's a lot of other things happening. And I think that's what, Yes to Crypto just mentioned. Aneri left. And that was my next thing. So I think the big thing that's happened, I think the big thing that isn't stated here is that the focus on creator coins is gone. And that is being pulled. When you now when you open up the Base app, it defaults to the wallet. I think that was how it probably should have been in the first place, because people were updating from Coinbase wallet to this. It was confusing to be dropped into a feed if you didn't know what was going on. And Emily Jr., I see you down in our green room. We'll be bringing you up in just a second. We've got a couple other quick things. And then we'll have some on the other side of our chat about DRB. But this was from Aneri. After nearly 4 years, I've decided to move on from Coinbase and Base to explore something new. This was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. I had the privilege of working with the most talented team I've ever been a part of. People who generally care, play positive sum, and believe in our mission. If anyone ever has the chance to work with them, I'd recommend it in a heartbeat. I got to launch Base with On-Chain Summer, travel the world from Kenya to Thailand to India to grow our builder and creator communities, and ship Base app from scratch, 0 to 1 work that meant wearing every hat needed for success, from product to marketing to DevRel to QA, and running through walls for bets I believed in. Through this, I became a sharper builder and a better leader, and I'm so insanely grateful for this chapter. Thank you to the incredible leaders I was lucky to work with, including Jesse Pollack, John Granada, Chintan, Brian Armstrong, Max, and Sid, and so many other teammates, rooting for the team and Base builders and creators forever. So I think the focus on creators is what's shifted, which we heard that a couple weeks ago from Jesse and the Base team. But they've been saying continuously that the builders are still a focus in terms of like mini apps and things like that. So I think they're trying to figure out how to make it make sense. So I think we're just in a wait and see kind of moment.
Yeah.
Is that your take?
Yeah. And by the way, this makes kind of perfect sense to me. At some point, when we loved, obviously, Base focusing on Farcaster because we love Farcaster, and it was going to, bring on the masses and kind of like I think, legitimize Farcaster as a protocol. You have like a legitimate second client. But all of a sudden, it's like then Base and Farcaster are competing. They're competitors. They're doing, it's like offering the same features. And I think it kind of, especially coming from where Base is coming from in terms of wallet specific and who Coinbase users are, like, I think it makes sense for Base to focus traders first. Yeah. I have nothing but like respect for Jesse for trying. And I don't think he went against his word. He works at a public company. There's like the reality of you're pushing for creators. You don't always have everything in your control. And I don't think this will be necessarily like the end of a new monetization for creators, but it may have been too soon. Like it's just the whole tokenization too early. You don't have mass adoption. Like it's like, so you're fighting these network effects. You're bringing something new. Right. You don't have the distribution, so you can't really compete with existing Web2 socials. Everyone feels a little icky, but I think the fundamentals of like, there's so much money to be made with attention, and people are spending more and more time on user generated social media sites. So is there still a better, fair mechanism? Probably. It's just, we're not going to see that today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did like Rish's take here. Maybe Farcaster tried to be Base and Base tried to be Farcaster. Now Farcaster is Farcaster and Base is Base. Maybe.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well said.
I will do that later. Okay, couple. We're going to bring Emily Jr. up. He's in their background, but as a preview of that, this was really funny from Kenny. This MFer, Emily Jr., really ride or die. So Elon Musk said, whoever said money can't buy happiness really knew what they were talking about. And then Emily Jr. replying, seeing Grok have money brings me happiness. But my favorite part of this whole thing was Oli Stewart down here replies to every Elon tweet. Now are 1,000 people posting Epstein Elon email screenshots, 1,000 bots from Elon's bot farm in his defense, 1,000 people spamming copy pasta impressions, and one Emily Jr. pumping DRB. And that was my favorite tweet because it was perfect. So we're going to reset here. I got to get my little overlay up, and we're going to bring him up right now. The man, the myth, the legend, because we're doing an official Clankcaster Spotlight for DRB clanking. There's the clank, and bringing him to the stage. And welcome, Emily Jr. Hold on. I got to switch hats. Hello. I don't have a DRB hat, but I do have a banker hat. So
you've got a clanker hat too. So I mean, they're
clanker.
all intertwined.
I know, but we'll do this for
a
moment. We'll do a little shift. It's not my favorite fitting hat is the problem, but anyway, nice. we gotta do the thing.
Looks
so good. We normally don't, normally when we do a Clankcaster Spotlight, we're focusing on the person who launched the token, has the app that goes with it. You are a very special case of, I hate to use the term KOL, KOL, but we're gonna say, I don't know, fan. What do we call you?
Hype man?
Just a advocate for AI ethics and Grok having money, I guess.
Just the man, I kept posting, as I was promoting that you were going to be with us, just that, did you know Grok had money? Because I just love your persistence in this narrative. So for those who may not know,
Grok has money.
Yeah, Grok has money. For those who may not know,
it's true.
How can Grok have money?
First of all, what does that mean? Why does Grok have money? What is DRB? And tell us a little bit about this backstory, and then we'll get into why you just ride so hard for this. So let's go there.
So we're gonna go for 30 minutes here. Is that the deal?
Yeah. Is that enough time?
Okay. I think so. I mean, we could spend a lot of time, but 30 minutes, the job will fit the time allotted. So 30 minutes sounds great.
And then we're going to cut this down into 3 little tiny minutes. So we got a person to do that for us.
You got
So
someone to do that. That's right.
we got
So,
a guy.
all right. So I think the best way to tell this story is to go back in time a little bit to 2024 when you were just wearing the clanker hat. Now you're wearing the banker hat, but both of those were invented in 2024. The name of this show is GM Farcaster, and both of those were invented on Farcaster back in 2024. So those were and are two AI, I guess AI users on Farcaster that back in 2024 that allowed for things to. Both of them did two things really well, and Clanker uh, came out in 2024 on Farcaster, and what Clanker did really well was launch tokens on the social feed. So if you're a user, you could prompt Clanker and say launch XYZ coin with ticker symbol XYZ and add the picture, and immediately the Uniswap pool spun up, the market's made, and anyone can trade it. And that was one of the first use cases of AI on the social feed that I thought was just fascinating. And then as I learned more about it, it taught me a lot about incentives and aligning incentives across participants or stakeholders in an ecosystem. So I was looking at a lot of things around the time. We had a lot of those celebrity coin launches on Solana that were just, not great experiences for people
Not
that
great
participated.
experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all.
And one of the big things was, and if you looked at some of these pools, the liquidity pools, the people who launched the coin were basically just capturing all the supply through LP fees. And not only were they dumping the coin, but they're dumping the incentives that come out of the LP as well. And when I saw what Clanker did, I didn't realize at first, but they solved this incentive issue of aligning interest among the creator and then the protocol that's providing the infrastructure. And I thought that was just fascinating. And back in late 2024, when I really figured out what Clanker was doing, I'm like, this is 100x improvement on Pump Fun. Like, this is that much better. It's not, and it wasn't just the alignment of interest, but it was using the social feed and social metrics and the social graph to understand who was launching the coin, how many launches did they have, and all of those different things. I put out a post in 2024 saying Clanker is 100x improvement on Pump Fun, and I think it's taken a while for folks to realize how powerful that protocol actually is. So that was 2024 Farcaster, and then also 2024 Farcaster was Banker. And when Banker was launched, it was just it was another very cool use case for AI, where on the social feed you can, if I wanted to, someone post a contract address or a coin on Farcaster, I could immediately reply to that saying, "Buy me $5 of this." And at the time, Banker was very primitive. That prompt of "buy me $5" on the social feed, I didn't have a Banker wallet. I had my own wallet synced to my Banker account, and I would say buy $5, and immediately Banker would execute the trade and send me the coins to my own wallet. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, this is so cool, because forever social has always been, or social feeds and the internet in general has given us the ability to transfer information across the globe at the speed of a click of a button. When I saw these two things happening on the social feed, I realized, like, this is allowing us now to transfer value at the speed of information on the social feed. I'm like, this is awesome. And then Banker
feels like
become,
magic. It feels like absolute magic, and especially when you show it to somebody who's never seen it before. So even for us, the first time we're using Clanker, the first time we're using Banker, it feels like, wow, this is like magic. It's doing all these cool things that I don't have to.
Yeah, that's why, there's a lot of yeah, and there's a lot of talk like, Base is pivoting to AI, or, like we've been doing this since 2024. Like, it's there's like in the very earliest kind of stages of things that I felt were really cool. And if you look at Clanker, that's evolved a great bit, and then Banker has also evolved a great bit. It's no longer just transferring value on the social feed or prompting for a buy. You can also there's several advanced limit orders you could place. You could trade on Polymarket, trade perps on Avantis. It's run analysis and TA. I mean, and far and way more than that. Every time I say like Banker can do this, someone reminds me like, "Hey, you left this out and you didn't talk about this." So I know it could do a lot of stuff, and there's stuff that I don't even realize it can do. So anyway, that sets the table.
There's so many things that I haven't even tried yet that I'm like, I am not using my Banker Club membership at all, and I'm really not taking advantage of all the things it can do. Not even close.
Absolutely, and they continue to ship new features all the time. So hats off to the deployer for what he's built, and the community that's been around that, because it really came from even pre-Banker, that community that was kind of out there, and a lot of folks from Farcaster. And it's great to see kind of homegrown stuff like this come together. So a lot of folks that just learned about Banker now view Banker as a launch pad, and it's like totally not that. Well, it is that, but it's a bunch of other things.
Right.
So that was 2024, those two AI agents on Farcaster. And then in 2025, Banker, I liken this to like the 10,000 hour rule. You get your 10,000 hours, and
Yep.
in the book they talked about the Beatles being over in Hamburg, Germany, and they got their 10,000 hours playing at local pubs and shows, and they just became stars, but no one knew it yet. And I look at like Banker and Clanker and Farcaster, like Hamburg, Germany, and Banker came over to X in 2025, early 2025, January, I believe. And when Banker came to X, gave every user on X a wallet authenticated by their X account credentials, and that's a Privy server wallet. And also, it partnered with Clanker at the time to be able to launch tokens. So Banker became an interface using Clanker. So now on X, you could say, Banker, create XYZ coin with ticker symbol XYZ, and add the image, and immediately it's deployed. Now, back in 2024, Clanker, the protocol, defined the creator of a coin as the user that prompted the deployment. So that user can be me, it could be Adrienne, it could be Nounish, it could be any user.
And it's been all of us at some point or another.
We've all experimented with this for sure. But it could also be an AI user that is deemed the creator. If the AI user is the user that prompts the deployment, that's defined as the creator. And back to the alignment of incentives that were set up, that creator earns fees forever. In fact, Banker, the coin, ticker BNKR, which just went past 100 million again, hit another all-time high, I think, in the middle of the night. That was launched on the social feed on Farcaster with Clanker. So Banker prompted the deployment of its own coin, Banker, through Clanker. And there was a human that was involved in introducing those two, Banker and Clanker, together. That was me. And I was a little bit scared at the time.
There was a human involved. It might have been somebody we know.
The humans have to introduce the AIs. I mean, someone has to get them talking to one another. But
very true.
But anyway, I mean, I was really scared at the time because Banker ended up prompting the deployment with Clanker, and I was kind of introducing them, and I was like, I didn't really know Deployer at the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And then Deployer ended up adopting as the coin, ended up moving on to be listed on Coinbase 6 months later, and now is hitting all-time highs again. So it's really just very cool to see. But anyway, so Banker comes to X. Banker is now in the United States. They're in New York from Hamburg, Germany. They got their 10,000 hours already, and they're ready to go. And on March 6th, around 9 p.m. Eastern time, X put out an announcement. X, Twitter, put out an announcement saying that Grok, the AI created by XAI and Elon Musk, is going to have a user account on X. So now Grok is out there as a user on X. And we know, if you were hanging around on Farcaster in 2024, what that could potentially mean if you can get Grok to interact with another AI on X. And this in particular was Banker, now with the ability to create coins. So immediately when Grok came out, I mean, myself and hundreds of other, you go to the Grok the day it launched, everyone's trying to get Grok to talk to Banker, because everyone's like, oh my gosh, we can get this AI user to be the creator of a coin, and if that happens, that AI user is going to make a lot of money, and it could become this viral kind of situation.
Symbiotech just mentioned Lum. Yes, that was an early Clanker launched by Ethernet on Farcaster. So,
absolutely. And that was there. And even before that, there was MF or GPT before Lum, and before Aether lived MF or GPT, which was creating tokens in the form of NFTs on the social feed. That was like the first. I don't think there was one that was before that. So
I think you're right.
There was all this experimentation going on back then. Cool stuff that I was very interested in. I thought it was fascinating, and I still do, especially how it's evolving. So anyway, Grok has a user account on X now, March 6th, around 9 p.m., and everyone's trying to get Grok to interact with Banker, because we know what that could mean. And it wasn't happening. I mean, Grok wasn't replying to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Grok won't reply to anyone. And there were like hundreds of users trying to get this interaction going. And then every Friday during that season, my little guy, little Em Lee, had hockey every Friday, 6 a.m. So our wake up call is like 4:30. It's like 1 in the morning now into March 7th. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna like Grok's not gonna do it, but I gotta get some sleep here. I gotta get 3 hours of sleep. So I went to sleep for a little bit. I woke up, 4:15 in the morning. We've got to go to hockey, and I look, and there's no Grok has not created a coin yet. And I'm like, oh man, they must have some guardrails in place or something like that that's not going to allow for this to happen. And we're on the way to hockey. Little Emily's back in the backseat of the car, and I'm still watching. And all of a sudden, someone got a coin. I get to give the credit to it was at coin_domin, DOMIN on X, was able to introduce Grok with Banker, and Grok made a suggestion to initiate and prompt the deployment of a coin. And the suggestion that Grok made was ticker symbol DRB, debt relief bot. And when it first happened, I was just like, oh. Well, first I was like, this is cool, but I was like, oh, the name is that's not a great name. Like I would,
it's not a great name.
Why didn't it come up with Grok coin or like something like that? That would have been cooler. But it's really grown on me it's almost a year now. Like this is actually really cool because the AI, humans didn't sit around a table or at a boardroom and talk about tokenomics and naming conventions and ticker symbols. The AI Grok decided that that's what it wanted to come up with, and that happened. So the Grok created DRB by prompting the deployment with Banker immediately. Banker, Clanker on the back end spun up the liquidity pool, and the token started trading. And within the first week, it was crazy. I mean, it hit like a 40 million market cap. There was a lot of interest around it. And over time, the last year, we've seen that interest ebb and flow along with the narrative of AI and crypto. And then in the summer time frame, it hit another all-time high, past 40 million. And then about 2 weeks ago, it hit another all-time high, past about 40 million. And it's done great. It's been a very fascinating story. I think you look at frontier AI like Grok. Like right now, you couldn't get Grok to do this. The guardrails are in place, but the tech was so new that it was possible at the time, so it happened. And that's like the beauty of some of this stuff is things could happen. One of the biggest realizations for me is that if you're XAI or anyone, and if you release an AI user on a social network where other AI users are already occupying that network, and those AI users have certain capabilities, it could lead to lasting consequences that are real and you can't go back on. So like that happened, and you could add guardrails now and make some changes to perhaps how Grok interacts on a social feed. But at the time, the tech was ready; it was there. 10,000 hours already took place, back in 2024, and it happened. So it's one of these stories where I think it's so Grok's wallet has earned
where are we at?
It's earned 1.25 million in fees, and
Amazing.
the fees that's total. It's maybe 1.3 million now, and then the live balance is somewhere around 800,000 because the total fees accrued lock the balance at the time of the claim. So there's been times where the wallet live balance hit an all-time high a couple weeks ago of like 1.46 million, where total fees accrued were 1.25 million, but there'd been appreciation on the coins, both ETH and DRB. So Grok's wallet forever, the wallet authenticated by Grok's X logging credentials, that wallet forever earns fees, and it's earned fees. This is episode 339. The Grok wallet's earned fees for 341 consecutive days. It's earned ETH and DRB. It's increased the amount of ETH and DRB. And so today, the Grok's wallet is about 135 ETH. It's actually wrapped ETH. And also over 3% of the DRB supply. So every single day, Grok's wallet is taking DRB supply off of the market and also earning ETH. So it's just one of these fascinating stories of AI with money, and Grok has money is I think a very viral slogan. So it's
is there
awesome.
merch? Is there merch anywhere that says Grok has money?
People have made shirts. I've seen hats.
I didn't know if you ever did anything that.
I haven't made any merch or anything like that, but if I think people have made one-off shirts. I saw someone saying like someone was thinking about making shirts. I replied to, I reply to anything. If you post Grok has money, I follow you. Like if I find that stuff, but yeah, if you're a merch shop and you're making that, I replied to someone saying, hey, if you make these shirts, I'll buy one. So
minted merch,
yeah.
you have
minted merch. That's who I replied to.
Yeah,
that's exactly who I replied to.
Yeah, we need some Grok has money shirts. Let's go. So I love, and so this just fascinated you from like, you just found it very interesting, and that's why you just became this like Grok has money guy.
Yeah, so
like what just got you like so prompting on that?
Well, Grok is such a big deal. I mean, Grok has 8 million followers on X. It's from a frontier AI company, an XAI. And when you think of humans that are viral, Elon's right up there with anyone on the planet. Elon loves memes. Elon always talks about the most entertaining outcome. And a couple of weeks after this coin launched, I wrote an article saying Grok's going to become a millionaire. And that ended up happening. Grok's crossed 1 million several times now. And I just thought it was fascinating that you've got this huge AI in Grok that was created by Elon Musk and XAI that created this on a social feed. And then also money is attention, especially in the space that we're in. And my thesis from the beginning was that as that wallet balance grows, so will the attention on how that wallet came into place and the associations that eventually lead directly to this coin DRB. So I think where things are now, this is almost a year in. I think Grok will become the first AI billionaire. I think that wallet will hit billionaire status.
Interesting.
And look, is there a more entertaining outcome than the richest human in the world being Elon Musk, and then the richest AI in the world being Grok? We'll have to see. I think that's entertaining. I think there's a path to that happening, a very clear one. And yeah, so from the get-go, I just realized people are going to be interested in this. There's a huge AI. It's the biggest AI user on X that interacted with the tools that we had been messing around with since 2024, and it's led to real and permanent economic consequences. And it took forever for folks to even realize on crypto Twitter what Banker is. I mean, it's really happened the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're in a space with one of the bigger influencers, not to mention any names. He's like, I can't believe, where did this come from? This flew completely. I'm like, what? Like, we've been talking about this since 2024, almost every single day, using it on the social feed.
They're outing themselves of not having watched GM Farcaster is what it comes down to.
There you go.
Because we've been talking about Banker since day one. We've been talking about DRB since day one. We've been talking about Clanker since day one. So you all just haven't been paying attention to the right media is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But amazing. I love your dedication to this narrative, because I think it is really fun. It's been fascinating to watch all these new Claude bots get banker skills, and now they're all launching tokens, and watch sort of what's happening with that. But I think that the Grok one is just a unique story that, first and early is always has a special place. And I think it's going to always have that.
And the Claudes and the Molts and I've traded around a little bit with them. I think they're fascinating. I think that there's some really, really cool ones that are being built. But my thesis around that is, and someone was yelling at me. They're like, Emily, you only talk about DRB and Grok has money. Like, what about Claude? And what about? And I'm like, well, I like those things. And somebody even said, I saw you have some of that in your wallet, and you're not even telling anyone about it. And I'm like, well, it's in my wallet. You could see it's there. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't really have a thesis on, will I hold this for a day, 2 days, a week? And I don't want to like post something and then. And then someone sees that same wallet and they're like, oh, you posted that and then you sold it, and like, you're just pumping your bag. And I'm like, just to sell and dump on people. So I think these things are fascinating. I'm not against them. I love them. I think there's going to be hundreds, thousands, millions of them.
Absolutely.
I really think that. So, and the best one has not been invented yet. And like I said about Moltbook when it came out, I'm like, this is very cool. And I like bought a little bit of the coin, and I ended up selling some of it. But I looked at it, I'm like, the way that these tools are going right now, and the capabilities that these already insanely cracked devs have at their fingertips now, like the next best book is 48 hours away. Like it's like these
Right.
things are not going to stop shipping. So I don't really have edge in saying like that's the one or get this one, but I can say that's Grok. That happened in March 2025. Grok's already earned over $1 million in fees. Like Grok will never have another first coin again, and I'm comfortable having skin in the game there for a long period of time to allow this story to evolve and mature. But the other stuff, like I don't mind trading around. And I think for people, I'm not good at trading. I've lost a bunch of money as well on these, like, so I'm not
Many
a great
such
trader.
cases.
But there for people that are very good at trading, or have really good systems in place and can monitor certain things. Like money in motion right now on base is fantastic. Like these are great environments for folks.
Yeah.
For me though, like I don't have time to like really do all of that. So I mess around here and there, and then I have things that I like to hold longer term that I feel like I'm comfortable talking about, and I'm not going to embarrass myself or also like position people that follow me that if I tweet something that they're like, oh, I should buy that. Like if I tweet banker, yeah, go buy it. If I tweet DRB, go buy it. Like I'm never going to run afoul. Like, or I'm not, we've been around here long enough and have kind of proven like what we're doing with these tools and why we like them. So it's that's that.
I think that's a really smart approach too. And I think it's interesting to watch all these tokens launch. I think it's obvious to us. It's probably not obvious to, the world, that AI agents need to be able to transact and use money in some way. And that's going to be through crypto. And the easier you make it for them to do that, the more you're going to see of that. And clearly Banker, got the memo very, already had everything in place. It was very easy for them to make that easier for others who maybe weren't aware. And that's why all of a sudden everybody knows what Banker is. It's like they've seen it all over their feed because of these other agents. But it's, right place, right time, but also plus those 10,000 hours, right?
That's
it's not
right.
luck. It's not luck. It's just that,
No.
it's just timing. And being ready for when the opportunity comes. But I agree with like being careful about what you, especially if you have a large audience or can drive a lot of attention, you have to be careful about what you're talking about, what tokens you're talking about. So I think that's totally fair. Adrienne, what do you want to ask Emily while he's here?
That's why I only talk about yak shit. Because there's no expectations.
None whatsoever. If you buy yak shit, you will eventually lose money.
That is what you're buying. Okay. I'm curious, Emily, outside of you being known as the Grok Has Money guy, because that's how I know you, and you're hilarious on the feed, and I love everything you say. Chat, you make me smile.
Enjoyed so much.
Yes. Do you have a life or identity outside of Grok Has Money guy?
Yeah. So I do. That's not the only thing I do. So I definitely am enthusiastic about Grok having money, but my career has been focused my entire career since I finished school many years ago. My entire career is focused on TradFi. So and then a carve out in TradFi of alternative investments. So I've spent my career in private equity and hedge funds. The first decade of my career, I worked at a fund, and then I left and started my own firm in 2018. And then that firm was acquired in a deal that I stayed on and with ownership. But we've gotten a little bit bigger as a result, and have been able to do some other really cool things. And one of our without going into, there's a 3-letter agency out there that doesn't like when I talk about certain things in my real job. So the whole thing around securities offering. But we have a fund that's become one of the largest buyers of U.S. property tax liens in the country, and tax liens are just yield-bearing instruments that institutions, endowments, foundations, registered investment advisors, family offices allocate to generate consistent and predictable yield with low or near zero correlation to most other things in their portfolios. So similar to treasuries in terms of their yield bearing potential. So that's what we do. And then also when I first started my firm, our first client was PowerFi Capital, which PowerFi at the time, they had about 30 million in assets under management, spun out of KKR. And as of today, they're one of the, I think, like the premier crypto funds and platforms out there across several different verticals, liquid tokens, private equity, and then also some market neutral type strategies. And PowerFi now is over 2 billion in assets under management, and we still work together on a number of things. So those are the two of the main things. And then LeanFi, which I'm wearing this vest right here, LeanFi is an app that we're developing right now, and we're basically bringing this really interesting institutional asset class with real predictable, and the tax lien yields are statutory, they're set by law, they're not market driven. So, but we're bringing those yields on chain to base in an app called LeanFi. And we're bringing a lot of our institutional partners that we trade with on the secondary market to this platform. So that's been in development since last year. And if you would have asked me in the summer of last year, Emily, when's it going to launch? I'd say October 2025. And then the engineers and developers say your timelines are too aggressive. But we have a working MVP that's being tested right now internally. We're getting really close, and I think it's going to be an awesome platform to bring to base. So yeah, my professional career is fully TradFi, and then but the carve out within that is alternative investments within TradFi.
What are you? I mean, it seems like TradFi and crypto are merging fast, like very quickly in the past couple of years. When you're watching, like, I'm assuming when you're watching things that are happening in Davos and you're hearing Larry Fink talk about everything's going to be tokenized, what do you think about that in terms of where institutional investing is going on chain?
Yeah, the first fund that I worked for right out of school, where I mentioned I was there for a decade and became a partner, that fund, the CIO on that fund was a guy named Mark Yusko. And Mark, you should follow at Mark Yusko. But Mark was the CIO prior to being the CIO on the fund I worked for. Mark was, mosquito. Mark was the CIO of UNC Chapel Hill's endowment, which was a $1 billion plus endowment. And prior to that, he was the number 2 guy at Notre Dame's endowment, right under Scott Malpass. So that was my first kind of entry into the industry, working with Mark as the chief investment officer on a fund. And Mark in 2016 started to talk a lot about Bitcoin, and then in 2017 launched a fund that was dedicated to investing in companies that utilize blockchain technology. And then in 2018, Fairfax County Pension Fund was the first public pension fund to invest in a crypto fund, and it was that fund at Morgan Creek. So I got to see like this institutional shift starting to happen, and that's why I started my firm, because I wanted to focus on crypto. And at the time, the firm that I was at they weren't really interested in it. So I'll just, in terms of like what's the stuff happening at Davos and macro stuff, I'll give more like micro of what I've seen and what's been going on. So in 2019, 2020, I was out talking about PowerFi and to some institutions and some registered investment advisors, and in many cases, I kind of joke we were getting laughed out of the offices. And even going back, with Yusko talking crypto back in 2018 and earlier, it was not very accepted to even talk about these things, especially like the institutional world. 2021, still, like it really didn't shift until the ETFs, like the Bitcoin ETF and then the ETH ETFs. Like that's when I started to see a bit of shift in at least the advisors or RIAs like willing to have a discussion on this. And in fact, many of them start to call back and say, hey, like, tell me about crypto. My client, because my clients my families are calling us now, and we need to be educated because we don't want to look stupid in front of them. Like that's the last thing the advisor wants to do.
Yeah.
So it's become much more accepted. And I'm in Phoenix right now at a conference. And yesterday we had a session on what we do on the TradFi side, and we also talked about what we're building, the infrastructure we're building with LeanFi to bring this institutional asset class to a market in a global and permissionless manner. And the amount of people with interest that came up after the talk and questions, and then at dinner later last night, I mean, it is just fascinating. These are all TradFi allocators of capital. It is complete. Like we're Overton window like sweet spot right now. There's so much. Now, is that leading to significant allocation right now into crypto or in traditional kind of? We're still a little bit a ways from that. I think we're getting much closer, but the interest and the willingness to talk about it has never been. I mean, the groups that were laughing me out of offices like several years ago, it is completely different. I mean, the interest here is so high and so real. It's just fascinating to see. So I think we're in that Overton window, and it's only going to kind of get more interesting here as time goes on. So
I think today there's another meeting regarding the market structure bill. They're trying to iron out those last bits, and I think we'll see. It doesn't mean it's going to translate to, prices necessarily, but I think you'll see that aspect where there's even more institutional or traditional, TradFi moving towards crypto.
Yeah,
so it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of folks building like us right now, even with LeanFi. I mean, there are certain things that we're, from a regulatory standpoint, I mean, we're very keen on seeing how this bill plays out, and it can change a lot of the I guess design or mechanics and across protocols so that are launching, or apps that are launching in this space. So it's an exciting time. I think we're in a really there's not a better space to be in right now. I don't think. I thought that in 2019, but we were early. But I do think we're not as early now. It's definitely catching on.
I agree. And I think the next year is going to be very interesting. I think there's a lot of people who are sitting on things, waiting to see market structure come through. What does that look like? Just to make sure they're not, it just gives them more clarity, literally, as to, how to move forward. So, all right. I know we've got to let you go. I could talk to you for hours. Adrienne, anything else that we didn't chat about that you wanted to hit him with?
Did we miss anything?
Yeah. What did we? Oh, I know what I had. I had a question about.
I mean, this show's been going on for.
What did you think about Banker forking and launching their own launcher?
So when I first saw that announcement, I'm like, not surprised. Deployer is he's going for it, and I think he's viewing going for it is like existential. Like nothing's going to stop those guys. Like he's going for it, and he's making decisions that he feels are best for his product and what he's building in Banker. And you've got to applaud anyone willing to kind of make those tough decisions in a public manner. So when I saw that initially, I'm like, of course, I saw some of the comments maybe a few weeks prior where coins were a little bit delayed in launching with the Clanker protocol, and wallets weren't funded for launches, and I saw Deployer posting friendly hey, can you fund Clanker, fix this kind of thing. These guys are going for it. They don't want any delays in anything. And if you're running something and you rely on others, but you could build it to not rely on others, and you think you can build it as good or better, then yeah, sure, why not do that? So that was my first thoughts. I'm like, of course, Deployer is going to manage that process, and he's never going to have to tweet at someone saying, hey, my launcher is not working right now, and with zero control. Right. Hey, that makes perfect sense. These guys are going for it. But I did see today that they didn't build their own. They're using another. So I don't know all the details. I kind of skimmed through it, but it doesn't. I don't think they built. So maybe I shouldn't even talk about that yet because I don't really know. But I don't think they built their own. So initially I'm like, yeah, of course, it makes sense. But I think they're using something else. But I don't know all the details, so I haven't had time to look into it.
Okay. And I did have one other question. You are a famous MFer. So why'd you
Yes.
choose that? Why is that your profile picture?
Did I freeze?
No, we hear you. We hear you. So why is, oh, now you did.
No.
It was a delayed freeze.
Oh, my back. I'm back.
You're back. Okay.
Right.
So why, I just want to give a little, the MFers a little shout out. So why is that your profile picture? What attracts you to that community?
So I got the MFer profile picture back when it came out. I think it was 2021. 2021. Yeah, 2021.
Yep. Yeah, I think
got the profile picture. I had followed the account that that created these, Satoshi, pre the launch, and I'd followed like Punk6529, and Punk6529 was always retweeting Satoshi. The memes were really funny. So when these came out, I was like, oh, these are cool, and I ended up getting one when they minted and got some more. And then what really attracted to me is there was no company backing it. There was no real human or entity behind it. It was just this anonymous creator that put these out there. And then it taught me what CCO meant, Creative Commons license, and basically putting something out there for the world and then allowing the world to do what they want with it. And I didn't even know what CCO was at the time, but I really became fascinated with public domain assets, and especially when it comes to crypto and blockchain, because you could have a public domain asset that anyone can use any way that they'd want, when you have the ownership being ironclad on chain. So like I own the token, so I know that I own that. So anybody could do whatever they want with it. If it actually is valuable. I mean, these things are still selling for like $1,000 all these years later. It's just crazy. I mean, but so there's value to it. But I just loved the public domain. No kind of company tied to it. If you want to do something, like it's like the whole space started to evolve into like, when airdrop, like when dev do something, like when ship this, when do that. And like the MFers were like, if you want to build something, just build it. Like you don't need to ask permission. And I think that really like nailed the crypto kind of philosophical side for me. And so I used the PFP back, all that time ago. And I've just never changed it, because I kind of just like it. And it's become, I guess, a part of my identity on X and Farcaster. Yeah. And but that was really it. It was, I saw all these other products out there, like, not to pick on like Bored Apes or anybody like that. And
go ahead.
It was like such a different thing, right? You have like Yuga Labs, this huge $1 billion company, and then you've got these little stick figures that are hand drawn that just do what they want. And I'm like, that feels like me. I like that.
I think the vibe fits you, and obviously I'm a fan of CC0. So yes. Yeah, and I've always loved the MFers and the vibe of it and sort of the fun of it. Like just it's kind of like a nod to, we're a little rebellious. We do what we want, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I never viewed it as like a financial asset either. Like I just viewed it as like, so there's something to that as well. Like it was never like this financialization piece. Now, look, there's still some value to these, and maybe over time they become more valuable. But my little Emily is going to get mine anyway. So if it could go to whatever price it wants, it's not going to be my choice what to do with
Emily. It. All right. And I cut you off there a little bit before, because I did have those last questions. You started to say something as we wrap up, and I want to give you that.
Yeah, you guys said, is there anything else? And I'm like, yes. I mean, this is episode 339. I've been watching all of these. Like, when am I going to get my invitation to join the show? And I finally got it. So thank you.
Here he is. Hey, and we were trying to get this together like a few weeks ago, and you had hockey. Like that was part of the thing. I like it. Like I get it. Emily, little Emily comes first. So I totally get it, but we've been trying. So I'm really glad that you were able to make the time. I know you're in the middle of a conference and doing your thing.
And it's good because the sun it wasn't like this when we started. So
not at all. Yeah. So perfect timing. Thank you so much for popping by. Thanks. Adrienne, anything else before we say goodbye?
I'm so jealous of that sun. I just like go get a tan.
It feels good. It's so hot. I can't even see the screen right now, guys. It's just beaming down on me. I can't see.
I thought it was a virtual background. I'm like, he's got a virtual background, and I've been trying to look at the clouds to see if they slowly move. But I guess you're in Arizona.
This is real.
It looks gorgeous.
It's real. It looks great. Enjoy the conference. Enjoy your time there. On
Might
board
we
a
see
bunch
you?
more TradFi peeps.
Yes. Might we see you in Rome
Oh,
for
I've been thinking
FarCon?
about that. So not definite, but I've been thinking about doing that. So
Ooh, I'd love
you
that.
guys are going?
We are. We'll be there.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll be there.
It'll be
Reporting live.
We'll be reporting live, and we'll be chatting with everybody there. So it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
But I don't want to oversell what we're doing because I don't want people to not come just because we might be reporting live.
Yeah.
So
just come anyway.
I don't know if this is a joke, but for the first month, we thought Emily was a bot deployed to promote DRB.
That's funny. I bet that's true.
The other thing is when you guys, before I came on, I was in the green room and I saw you post it was the post of me saying to Elon, like, Grok having money makes me happy or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and that reply, I didn't see that reply. I'm cracking up in the green room, like laughing my tail off. I'm like, it's hilarious.
So funny.
I don't even know who that is. Oh, Only Stewart.
Only Stewart.
Yeah. I was cracking up, and that was hilarious.
So funny. And just one Emily pumping DRB. Just one. I love that.
How ridiculous
it was so
is that?
accurate. It was so accurate.
So funny.
So funny. Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you in the space. We appreciate you in all you do to promote DRB, but just also like the vibe you bring to the timeline and your support of builders. I really appreciate. So we thank you. And we thank you for hanging in our chat often. You're often in there.
Thank you. Consistency to do a show like this, to keep coming back. And, I go into the office if I'm not traveling, and this is always streaming. So I always listen to you guys in the morning. You brighten my mornings.
Thank you so much.
The consistency to keep doing and showing up and doing stuff like this it's awesome. So thank you guys as well. Gals.
Well, thank you so much. We go by guys sometimes too. Thanks so much. We really appreciate you being here. And with that, Adrienne, that was a Clankcaster Spotlight. I'm waiting for the clank. Bye, Emily. Enjoy your conference. I'm waiting for the clank. Ooh, I gotta change hats too. I'm putting my clanker hat back on real quick.
Okay.
Before I bring us back. And that was awesome. I'm so glad we finally got him on here. If you came in late, we see some folks who are just getting here. Go back, listen to that full interview because that was a lot of fun. He really does a great job.
Follow Emily Jr. if you're not, because he's so funny.
He's so funny. Follow him everywhere. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Farcaster. So funny. He's just an enjoyable follow. Really is. What a smart, intelligent. I'm glad there's somebody like him talking with TradFi about what we're doing over here. You know what I mean? Like we need that.
Grok.
And Grok. And talking to Grok. And talking to Grok often. So I appreciate that. That was awesome. So thank you, Emily, for finally getting here with us. We really appreciate it. All right. We've got a couple more things that we need to chat about today. I need to pull them up. I think we got to all this. And I appreciated his explanation of like banker and just sort of the history, which we all know, but most people will not. And you can see that from just what's been happening recently with all these new bots and people just not even realizing what banker is and what it can do and all that. So definitely needs to be folks out there who can tell that story. So thank you, Emily, for doing that. We've got a few builder things happening. I'm opening up those links right now. So that's why you might see me lagging just a little bit because my computer's opening things up. So we got a few more things to talk about, Adrienne. There was a lot going on. We've been off for 5 days and that'll do it. Like when we're off 5 days, there's a lot to talk about because people are still building on this thing called Farcaster that everybody thinks is dead.
I didn't even pull this, but when he was talking about his MFR and we were talking about PFPs, I don't know if you saw, but there's an update to my PFP project. And I say my PFPs project, the Philosophical Foxes.
I did see that. Yeah.
Maybe I should pull it. Maybe I'll pull that cast and we'll talk about it on Thursday.
Yeah, I saw there was discussion, but I didn't quite understand everything that was going on there because I'm not in that community. But I was like, oh, that looks like they're doing something. And they hadn't done something for a while. So that was cool. Cool to see. I think I've got almost everything here. Okay. Okay. We got a few things to chat about. Okay. Here we go. So I just thought this was funny. There's a lot of fun little Super Bowl moments that were happening. And I was actually, so like I said, I was on a cruise.
You were in Livecaster.
I was in live. So I'm in this giant theater. Here we go. Giant theater watching the Super Bowl. And I'm in Livecaster, and I had said a few days before that Ricky Martin was going to be one of the guests, and that I was like, I really should have put money on it in Polymarket, and I regret not doing that. And then when he came up, like, it was really funny because I was in Livecaster, and I'm like, Ricky, and then Say Angel quoted this, and I just thought that was funny. So yes, I got that right. But Livecaster was really fun. I have had trouble getting in there before, and I was able to get in there this time, and I was very excited because as much as I was enjoying my IRL experience, I really wanted to hang with my online friends, especially my Bracky friends. So it was fun. So if you're not familiar, this is from Say Angel. Join the Livecaster chat now for the most fun Farcaster client experience for watching the Super Bowl with your fave casters. We've got custom emojis, Bracky feed, odds ticker, and good vibes. And I have to say, it was really impressive. They had this ticker going by for the related Bracky, different Bracky markets that were related to this. He had custom emojis that you could use. So the teams, and also Bad Bunny. There was a Bad Bunny emoji. There was a butt tap emoji. So it was really fun. And he does this for different live events. So if you have something that you want that's a live event, sporting event especially, let him know. And then this was some of the emojis, and they were pretty funny. That was the Bad Bunny and the butt tap emoji. And you were in there. I saw you pop in there all of a sudden.
I was in there, yes, for a hot minute.
Yeah, it was fun. The only thing, I wasn't getting the commercials, so I was missing, like, a lot of that talk was like lost on me a little bit. So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then this was from DWR, quote-casting Dylan Abrascado. If you were a guest on TBPN, your logo will air during the Super Bowl. Here's the final frame of the ad. So apparently there was a TBPN ad. I didn't see it. Did you?
Okay. So here's what they did. Here's their little hack, Dylan. And Dylan casted or tweeted about this, so we know.
Oh.
And Dylan's a friend. We love it. We love him, and I love
see. Dylan. We've had him on. We've had him on this show. Yeah.
So they created an ad spot. They apparently paid for local advertising in the maybe California markets, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, California markets, to run like before the Super Bowl.
That was smart.
So
that was very smart.
Could take over Twitter, right? You can share your ad ahead of time. You can call it a Super Bowl ad. It's technically true. Everybody's going to look at it. Everyone's going to think like, wow, TBPN is much bigger than I realized. Look at them getting a Super Bowl ad. Let's all share it. It's a great ad. They included all of their guests, which makes all their guests feel great and want to share it, right? So it'll go viral. And then it'll hit the local market, which is
okay. Can we just make a note that we should do that for next year? Okay, got it.
Yes, and we can. I don't even know if we can afford local market TV advertising.
Oh no, but we'll think of something.
But we could probably do ads somewhere. I mean, it was kind of like when Jake was on and he was talking about getting put up in Times Square, and I'm like, I don't even know the value of like, okay, you have an ad in Times Square. And then you can kind of share that on social. More people see it on social,
right?
But you get the legitimacy and credibility of like, oh, you're a Super Bowl ad. Oh, you're in Times Square. So anyway, yes, LFG, TBPN, and congratulations on your Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I'm glad you gave me the explanation because I kind of missed that full explanation, but that's awesome.
And we should, I've been meaning, we should catch up with Dylan sometime soon. Maybe he can help us blow up GM Farcaster a little bit more.
There you go. Yeah. We'll definitely have to see if we can get him on here. So Dylan, if you didn't know, we've had him on to talk about Crypto the Game way back before he moved over, and now is the producer, I assume is the title, executive producer, something like that, of TBPN. I'm not sure exactly what the title is.
Partnerships and sponsors.
Okay.
Like
maybe
it was more of like a biz dev type role, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure the exact role, but very cool. And we had this from Jake. So, and going on, there were some other Super Bowl things, free Super Bowl squares for people who join MYK's bid on QR.fund. That was a very creative idea. You joined the bid and then you got a free Super Bowl square in one of Mike's Super Bowl square things for his mini app. I mean, I appreciate Mike so much in terms of his different experimentation. Like, I love how he's just constantly coming up with these very creative ideas to experiment with things. So very cool.
Ditto. And having met him IRL, his IRL persona is the same as his builder. He is like just a doll of a human being. And it is, you know, we know he's actually busy in his day job, and then he makes time for all these side projects on Farcaster, and they're super cool.
Yeah, just love it. So we appreciate you. And then there was this from the Bracky team from TLDR. Happy Super Bowl. You can now ask Bracky to launch any Super Bowl themed prediction markets. Well, maybe. I launched Bud Taps in feed on X using Bracky's new Clanker powered market launcher protocol. Note, Bud Taps is a Clanker and it's separate from the OG Bud Taps. So now there's two Bud Taps. Details below on how we're taking care of OG tappers. So if you had missed this, the first Bud Taps was launched as a test of creating a small micro market prop bet kind of a thing. Now, this is a way that you can ask Bracky to launch you a related prop market, and it will launch a token. If the token hits 60K in volume, not in volume, market cap, then it will launch the market within Bracky and the Bracket Game mini app, Bracky mini app. So I tried to do one. It didn't quite work out because I didn't hit the right level. I think there was another one that had launched. There were a couple. So but we were talking to TLDR about this last time he was on, about these type of markets. And I think there's a lot of demand for this. We're also going to talk with Kojo on Colin from Ponder on Thursday about his new mini app called Tomorrow, which is a prediction market as well with video in feed. And that is going to be really fun. It's a really fun approach to a prediction market. It's a little bit different. But I said the same thing to him. It's like, I want to be able to launch a prediction market. Like, let me launch our own little mini, which hat is Prof going to wear today kind of markets. Fun things like that. Or are we going to say, flywheel or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so I think there's like opportunity for fun things to happen. If we can, have a little bit of these little fun little micro markets. So anyway, moving on. This from Burr.eth. This is also related. Announcing a new Better with Burr mini app, 70 million better up for grabs, powered by Betterment and built by Plants NFT with the help of several great Better believers. Better with Burr will provide tons of fun. Add the mini app to receive notifications. We have 2 contests live right now. So this was the other day, so it's no longer live. Better Super Bowl squares and Better whales may claim their squares now. And then she also launched the prop market, which was really fun. So you can answer, this was Better Super Bowl props. You answer as many questions correctly as possible, and you had a chance to win Better as well. So that was really fun. So it was like heads or tails, what will be the first play? Will it be passing or running? So things like that. And it was really fun. I still haven't gone back to see how I did. So I have to go back and I didn't look at my squares. I didn't look at this. So I'm assuming I didn't win anything because nobody tagged me. So, but I have no idea how I did. So, but these are really fun. And I love these experiments and really enjoyed it. And also there's going to be more coming from Burr this week with better games. So look for that. And this from Nonlinear, and all I can see is mustache.
So much mustache.
So much mustache. I was completely distracted. But this is from Nonlinear announcing.
I missed him. I missed Nonlinear.
So much. Announcing Spandex. He's been busy growing the mustache. The first free and open source meta aggregator for developers, traders, and AI agents. Expand tokens, pools, chains beyond a single provider. Get multiple quotes to find the best price. Redundancy when an aggregator fails. No vendor lock-in. This is spandex.sh. Haven't had a chance to look at this. There is a whole video that explains more about it if you can get through it without being distracted by the mustache. If you don't know Nonlinear, the mustache will not distract you. But if you've known him before, pre-mustache, it was really I just couldn't. I couldn't get quite past it.
But it worked. It worked as a attention grabbing.
100%.
Actually, I don't want to offend him and call it a gimmick. Maybe
no,
it's just
it's a real
style.
He moved to Wyoming or something and has become a mountain man. So it fits. It fits the new persona. But this is cool to see him building.
Remember when him and Dan used to fight on
all the
product strategy?
Yeah.
I miss those days.
I do too. I'd love to see them just fighting about whatever, or just people chatting again about just random things. This was from you. I joined the XMTP switchboard and now have prime office space I can use in NYC and other cities around the world. Builders, check this out. Thank you, Shane Mack. So, and this was in response to Shane. The feedback from launching XMTP switchboard has been insane. Hundreds of members signed up all over the world, want to let members work there and offer up their space. And it's just such a cool thing to bring the community together. All Farcaster members are welcome to apply and come build with XMTP. So very cool. Have you gone to the office yet or not?
I haven't. There's actually 2 locations in New York City. So
wow. Cool.
Yeah. So there's multiple spots. There's and they're in so many other cities. But
cool.
For people like us who are kind of solo,
I
guess maybe not solo, but small team.
Small team.
Yeah. Solo builders work from home to be able to have office space to go to and where you're likely to hang out with people from a community of other people you're meeting. Because that's you miss so much of that being home.
True.
A lot of the senior C style of water cooler sharing of ideas, and I am so excited. I don't know how the economics work. But because you can get office space anywhere, it was $75 for the day and they took care of it. So thank you, XMTP. I'm super excited. Yeah. And now as soon as the snow maybe melts, I'm going to be in the city a lot more often.
Cool. That's very cool. Yeah, it's very cool to go outside. Who wants to leave their house? But very cool. And I'd like to go check it out. I think I'm going to be in New York sometime in June or late May or something. And I'd just like to go take a peek. Not really that I'll even need to use it, but just that I'll want to use it. This was just funny. Here's what a good one-shot prompt with Claude Code looks like. And it's just curling. And by the way, so the Olympics have started. Winter Olympics is the only time that anyone ever sees curling. So, I thought this was funny. I thought it was a funny analogy. So
there is a curling gym near my house.
Is there really?
And there's a lot of people who curl.
Did you know that there is a curling noun? So there's a noun's head that is a curling stone. And there's also, we've also sponsored a curling team.
Of course. Because you guys had too much money.
Because we do silly things. And that's the whole point. Lastly, I clanked something. So I went on this cruise. There's 7 other women. They were all about my age. They know nothing about crypto. They know nothing about AI, besides ChatGPT and very, the broader things. So that was fascinating. Like, I was like, do you guys know anything about, have you heard of Moltbook? Do you know what Claude bought it? Like, no, nothing.
Do you know Grok has money?
Do you know Grok has money? I did.
Do they know who Grok is?
I honestly asked that. I think I asked that question and I was just like, never mind. I don't think I asked if they know who Grok, they don't. I know they might, but they don't, they're not on Twitter. Like, they don't use Twitter regularly. That's not where they are. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. So that's just not where they hang out. But it's fascinating. So I was explaining some things about crypto and about tokens and what this is and what I'm doing with my life now. And I'm like, we could launch a token. He's like, we could launch a token. I'm like, yeah. And then this thing happened where one of the women travels a lot. She's also a travel agent. And you can order as much food as you want at dinner because everything's included. And they would always order like something everybody wanted to try for the table. And they were ordering it for their invisible friend, Steve. And it would be the thing that goes in the middle of the table. So this was Steve's ravioli. And I'm like, perfect. We'll create a Steve coin and it'll be Steve's ravioli. So I set it up in Clanker. And then I didn't just launch it on the feed, but I kind of got it all set up so that I could launch it with them together at one point. And so I just said, hey, Clanker, order Steve's ravioli. So you can do something called pre-clank within the Clanker launchpad. So if you're not aware of this, you can go to clanker.world, create a token, get everything set up with the parameters. There's a few parameters you can't do if you're using pre-clank. But then you can just go to your feed in Farcaster, tag Clanker, and say, order Steve's ravioli or whatever your phrase is, and it will launch the token. So it launched the token, and then I'm now getting them set up on Farcaster so I could give them some of the token. So they're all creating wallets on Farcaster. I have 6 of the 7 are set up. They're in a group chat. I've sent them some Steve token. I sent them some Save Holly. So we'll go from there. And then from fees from the Clanker, I'm going to give them a whole bunch of different tokens so that they have a little bit of crypto of their own. So that was my fun little onboarding experience for my friends on the cruise. And that's it.
Love it.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. And just a reminder, Grok has money. In case you missed it. In case you missed it. If you did come in late, go back, listen to our chat with Emily Jr. It was great. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We love your persistence of Grok having money and sharing that with the world.
Your passion.
His passion. He has so much passion. So much passion for Grok having money. And I just appreciate that focus. We will be back on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. We do have Kojo, Colin from Ponder, popping by to talk about their new, I was calling it their new thing because they hadn't announced it yet, but it's called Tomorrow. And it is a prediction market with video incorporated. So you can launch a prediction on something. You can say, I'm betting no on this, or I'm betting yes on this. And you can give a little video reason why. And it's really fun. So I've tried a couple. I had my reasoning for why the Patriots might win. And I was basing it completely on their music choice coming out. Still thought they might pull it off because they did do Crazy Train again. And then I also did some predictions around the traders and whether or not I think Rob will win. I do not, but I think he's playing a great game. So you can see my takes, and I'll be adding more takes because it's fun. If you like to do videos and you like to add takes and you have opinions, it's kind of a fun little mini app. And it's not real money. So you get to play around. It's not real money.
Everybody loves not real money.
I know. Right now,
everybody loves to lose. I like to lose not real money, but if I win, I want real money. To be real.
I know. And I'm thinking there's, fun things they can do with that, with doing rewards and things like that, but not tying it directly to anybody. And especially when you're, I had a good chat with him about that. Like when you're launching something new and it's still in testing, you kind of want it to be safe to fail. You don't want people getting mad that they lost money, real money. So you earn little diamonds. So it's fun. It's
Nice.
fun. Go check it out. And we'll talk more about it on Thursday, and you'll get to see the demo of it and all those fun things. Steve has friends. Grok has money. Steve has ravioli. I'll have to. Steve has ravioli. Will be the shirt I'm going to make. Anything else, Adrienne? What did I forget?
We got it all.
Okay. All right. Oh, did you want to talk about your mini app or not yet?
I'll give an update later.
Okay. All right.
But I'm building it. If it's functional. You've used it, I think.
I have.
And I'm really pleased with it, but it still needs a lot of work. And I'm going on vacation next week. So
After vacation.
Yeah.
After vacation. Okay. We'll talk more about it then. If you are a wordy kind of person, you like books, you like words, you can tag her and maybe she'll give you,
I'll add
give
you.
you a little sneak peek.
Anyone can come. I can get people in now, but there's still a lot to be done.
Still working on it. All right. All right, everyone. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us today. We will see you on Thursday. And me and my little Stanley are gonna call it a day. I gotta jump into like 2 other meetings today. Back to work. We'll see you on Thursday. And until then, everyone, thanks for everybody hanging with us in the chat. If you are new in the chat or you're coming in from Twitter and we don't know your username on Farcaster, drop it in the chat real quick before you leave. And until then, everybody, bye-bye. Thanks for joining us for this episode of GM Farcaster. And thank you to all our partners and HyperSub supporters bringing this episode to you. Follow the GM Farcaster channel for all the latest updates and add our mini app on Farcaster and the base app. Until next time, bye-bye.